So I asked this question in my video I did about Conor this morning about what does it do for you when you find out that a fan, a fighter that you're a fan of is an actual gangster? Like, does it make you like him more? Does it make you like you less, etc.? Because I think a thing like that is kind of up for debate. It's like, oh, he's a real gangster. It's like that makes me a bigger fan because I don't really think of these people as like real people. It's kind of like I think they're like this like fantasy thing that's not real because. I don't know. I don't really see how anybody could find out that someone is like burning women's cars and be like, oh, yeah, unless they think that like life is a movie or something. That said, a trait that I do think is very, very, what's the right word? Or there are certain traits that make people generally like not like people. And then there are traits that make people very much drawn to a person and really, really like them, right? So, and then there are some that are kind of on both sides of the fence. And this video that I just watched about Paddy Pimblett, or I watched of Paddy Pimblett, is extremely notable in that regard for across the board, right? Because Paddy's what's the right way to explain this? Like Paddy's career has been really high, it's been really low in terms of like public opinion, okay? And I think that is a result of him being such a huge star, but also how his personality is. And I'll tell you exactly what I mean, because this is the kind of thing that I'm actually really interested in. Now, in this video, I'm not going to ask you to subscribe. What I am going to ask you to do is go ahead and like this video and go ahead and comment if you want. But please like the video. It actually makes a huge difference. And I always forget to ask. But if you could, that would be extraordinarily helpful. Because in this video that I'm about to show you, he shows a lot of humility. And that made me very much root for him. Like I know he's fighting Dober now. This guy's a beast, dude. And I think a lot of people are hoping that he loses that fight. And for me, I'm not now. I'm actually very much hoping that he wins. And I'm hoping that he wins specifically because of the video that I just watched.
I wanted to ask you a bit of advice for myself, to be honest, because obviously my last performance wasn't the greatest. I didn't look half as good as I think I am in that fight, and a lot of people think I lost. Like I'm seeing things online constantly, oh, he lost, it was a robbery, this and that. To be honest, I don't even really know that well how to handle it.
All the great fighter had fights that people would say they've lost. When I fought Hendricks, some people thought Hendricks beat me. It happens to everybody. When I had some performances that I was not too proud of, I take a note of all the things that I did before the fight, and I try to make an assessment of what should I done differently, and I try to not repeat the same mistake. If you think you won the fight, it doesn't matter what the other people think. There's always some haters that are gonna try to put you down, and you cannot let that get into your head. If you feel like you're not happy with your performance, call out the guy, run it back again.
You're right. In the future, we could have to run that one back.
It's literally as simple as that. And I kind of want to share that experience with you guys because, I don't know, like I get more out of watching the sport when I'm inspired or looking for someone to make a comeback or, you know what I mean? Like I'd prefer to root for people than root against them. I understand I understand why people want to root against people sometimes. And Paddy made it pretty easy after that last fight. But again, in this clip I'm going to show you guys, I think he's showed a lot of humility in recognizing that and saying that he doesn't really know how to handle it. So I'm sure, I know how I do this. I just talk and then I'm just going to put the video in there somewhere. But like, I would say when someone says like, look, I didn't really behave correctly after the fight, someone shows that they recognize that they've made a mistake and they just own it. I think that's one of the most likable things about people is then they could just go, look, I said a thing. I shouldn't have said that. Here's why I said it. Here's why I was worked up. And bottom line, I recognize I really shouldn't have done that. And, like there are certain kinds of people that really, really want to dislike people. And of course, if they find a reason to not like them, they'll just hang on to it. But I think people who are like genuinely looking for a read on a person like they're a human being, when someone says that, they're like, all right, this is an okay guy. This is a self-reflective person who's capable of recognizing their own flaws. And like Paddy Pimblett says straight up, I didn't know how to handle this. People were saying that I lost. I didn't think that I'd lost. I didn't really know how to handle it. What do you think I should do? And a person asking for advice from an elder, someone who obviously has more wisdom than like George St. Pierre. Again, that's another very likable trait. I think what people genuinely really respond poorly to is overconfidence and I don't even know what the right way to even describe it is. It's because it's like this like angry response to people challenging their, I don't know, like position. Like if someone deserves some criticism and then when you give it to them, They're like, oh yeah, like your criticism is bullshit. Fuck you. You know, people are like, no, fuck you, guy. Okay. That wasn't a good performance. You lost the fight. Suck it. And they're like, no, you suck it. I did win that fight. Greatest fight of the night. And people are like, dude, what the fuck? Like, it's easy to root against a guy who does that. But for me, if that guy, like Paddy does, comes back and goes, look, I made a mistake. I didn't handle that well, and I take it back. I watched it again. I didn't really fight very well. You know, I didn't handle it well, and I really want to make sure that I have a good performance in my next one. I don't know, man. That's very endearing to me. You know, that's just a very endearing quality. So now I'm rooting for Paddy. I hope he beats. I mean, I really like Dober, but you know, Paddy's more interesting. And I don't know. A loss to Paddy would be devastating to his career. Dober's a banger. We know exactly what we're getting with him, dude. He's going to continue to get fights no matter what. He's really exciting. I'll always be excited to watch him fight. A loss is not the end of the world for him. And Paddy has a very high ceiling if he can continue to win. So anyway, I don't know, man. I just watched that and I wanted to make sure that as many people that, you know, if I could show it to 10,000, 20,000 people, I wanted to do that because I thought it's a good look for Paddy. Simple as that. Simple as that. So humility, which is hilarious. You know what's hilarious about that too? Is people bang me in the comments all the time about that. They're all, dude, why don't you show a little humility, guy? I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like, what it's so funny about that is if you actually talk to a single person that knows me in my real life, they'd be like, oh, they think that you lack humility. They'd be like asking the people that I train with, they'd be like, I've never seen anything but humility from you. Literally ever, you know, except when you smash that. I'm just kidding. Confidence is not the same as being narcissistic. I don't understand how people don't recognize that. I really think that that's one of these, like, I think that's like a trait of like an introverted person. Like an introverted person does not like being out there. They you know, when they have to interact with a bunch of people, like the actual difference between an introvert and an extrovert is actually very simple. An extrovert gets energy from being around people. An introvert, it takes their energy when they're around people. It's literally that simple. Like that's the actual definition of what an extrovert and an introvert is. But people who really, really don't like interacting with people and don't understand extroverts, they look at confident extroverts and they're like, look at this narcissistic piece of shit. And you're like, yeah, I mean, there are narcissistic people. That's just not one of them, dude. Like that, what you're talking about, that's not a narcissist, man. Ask him a question about, I don't know, test and see if he cares about people's feelings, you know? And if you ask him something and he clearly empathizes with people, he's not a narcissist, man. That's just not what a narcissist is. It's just not, you know? But anyway, I don't know. I'm just trying to fill up some runtime because YouTube doesn't tend to suggest videos that are only 5 minutes long. So it is what it is. Subscribe to the channel. Love you guys. Peace.